Simple habits to keep your brain young. After 70, have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you were there? Maybe you found yourself searching for the right word during a conversation or misplacing your glasses, only to find them sitting right on your head. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. These little slips happen to all of us, especially as we get older. But here's the good news. Getting older doesn't have to mean losing your sharp mind. In fact, many people well into their 70s, 80s, even 90s keep their minds active, focused, and full of life. The secret? It's not some expensive brain supplement or a magic trick. It's actually much simpler than you might think. Just a handful of small everyday habits can help keep your brain young and your memory sharp, no matter your age. And today, I want to share with you what those habits are. These aren't just tips from a textbook. These are real, lived experiences, things that people just like you are doing every day to stay mentally vibrant. So make yourself comfortable, maybe pour a cup of tea, and let's talk heart to heart about how you can take care of your most powerful organ, your brain. Let's start with something simple that makes a big difference. Using your mind like a muscle. Think about it. When you stop using your legs for too long, they get weaker, right? Your brain works the same way. If you don't challenge it regularly, it starts to slow down. Franklin Thompson, a retired high school principal from Ohio, is 76 years old. Every morning, before he even makes his coffee, he sits at his kitchen table with a pencil and a crossword puzzle. "It's my mental workout," he says with a grin, and he's not kidding. These small exercises, like crosswords, Sudoku, or even reading something new, stimulate the brain and help keep the neural connections alive and active. Franklin also makes it a point to learn something new each month. One month it was Spanish phrases, another it was Civil War history. He doesn't do it to impress anyone, he does it because it makes him feel alive. And isn't that what we all want? To keep that spark? You don't need to go back to school. Just read a new book. Listen to a podcast about something unfamiliar or try a simple brain game. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to keep you curious. Now let's shift gears and talk about something just as important, but often overlooked, moving your body. Yes, I'm talking about physical activity, but don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to run a marathon. Just walking regularly can make a world of difference. Mary Collins is 82 and lives in a quiet neighborhood in Oregon. Every morning, rain or shine, she takes her little dachshund Lucky for a stroll around the block. It's not a power walk, it's not fast, but it's consistent, and that consistency is key. Studies show that physical activity, even gentle walking, increases blood flow to the brain. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, and a better chance at keeping those brain cells happy and healthy. Mary says she looks forward to her walks, not just because they help her body, but because they clear her mind. "It's my thinking time," she says. "I sort through my day, remember what I need to do, and sometimes I just enjoy the trees." That kind of peace, combined with the physical movement, keeps her alert, balanced, and emotionally centered. If you can walk safely, make it part of your routine. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as medicine for your mind. And if walking's not an option, simple chair exercises or light stretching can still offer benefits. The important thing is to stay in motion, mentally and physically. But staying sharp doesn't just come from thinking and moving. It also comes from connecting with people, with your community, with the ones you love. Our brains are social. They thrive on laughter, conversation, and being part of something bigger than ourselves. James and Gloria Baker are both 78 and live just outside of Dallas, Texas. Every Saturday night, they host what they call potluck poker. It's nothing fancy. A few friends, some home-cooked dishes, and a friendly game of cards. "We talk about everything," James says. "Old stories, new jokes, even politics sometimes." Gloria laughs and adds, "It keeps us sharp, we have to remember the rules." But there's more to it than games. Their weekly tradition gives them something to look forward to. It keeps them engaged, and studies have shown that people who maintain strong social ties have lower rates of cognitive decline. Why? Because every conversation is a little workout for the brain. It forces you to remember, to respond, to feel. Even if you live alone or far from family, there are still ways. to connect. A weekly phone call with a friend, joining a local group or class, volunteering at the library or a nearby hospital. It doesn't take much. Just a little effort to stay involved can make a big difference in how your brain functions and how your heart feels. These first few habits may seem simple, but they're incredibly powerful. Stimulate your mind with something new each day. Move your body in whatever way you can, and don't isolate yourself. Seek out connection, not just for your spirit, but for your brain. Because the truth is, we all want to keep our memories. We want to remember our grandchildren's names, the punchline to our favorite joke, and the feeling we had on that sunny afternoon back in 1972. That's not asking for too much. That's just asking for life to keep shining a little longer, a little brighter. And it can, when we care for our minds the way we care for our homes, our families, and ourselves. Now let's keep going. So we've talked about keeping your mind active, moving your body, and staying connected with others. Each of these habits plays a beautiful role in keeping the brain alive and well. But there's one habit that often slips through the cracks, even though it might be the quietest, most powerful brain protector of all: sleep. Now, I know sleep isn't always easy after 70. Many folks wake up in the middle of the night, have trouble falling asleep, or find themselves tossing and turning for hours. But good sleep is not just about feeling rested. It's about giving your brain time to clean up, to reset, and to protect your memory. Let me tell you about Carol Jennings. Carol is 81 and lives in Florida. For years, she struggled with waking up at 3 a.m. and staying awake until sunrise. She thought it was just normal aging. But when she started forgetting little things, like where she put her bank card or what time her doctor's appointment was, her daughter encouraged her to try something different. Carol began what she now calls her sleep routine. No more TV late at night. No scrolling on her phone in bed. Instead, she makes herself a warm cup of chamomile tea around 8:30 p.m., reads a few pages from a paperback mystery, and turns the lights out by 10. She also keeps her bedroom cool, quiet, and dark, like a cozy cave for her brain to rest in. Within weeks, Carol's sleep improved, and so did her memory. "I feel like myself again," she says, "like my brain finally has time to catch its breath." It turns out science backs this up. During deep sleep, your brain clears out waste like old proteins and toxins that can interfere with memory and thinking. Think of it like a nighttime cleaning crew for your brain. When that crew doesn't get to work, things pile up fast. So, if you're struggling with forgetfulness or brain fog, don't overlook sleep. It's not lazy, it's not optional, it's brain maintenance. And speaking of maintenance, there's another quiet hero when it comes to brain health: what you eat. Now, before you groan and think I'm about to lecture you about kale smoothies or cutting out everything you love, relax. The truth is, eating for your brain isn't about being perfect. It's about adding in the good stuff as often as you can. Take John Martinez, for example. John is a retired firefighter from Arizona, and at 74, he's still sharp as a tack. "I don't diet," he laughs. "I just eat like my grandmother used to cook, real food." That means fresh fruits and vegetables, especially berries and leafy greens. Wild blueberries are his favorite. He adds them to oatmeal, blends them into a shake, or just eats them by the handful. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants that protect the brain from aging. He also eats fish, usually salmon or sardines, a couple of times a week. Omega-3 fatty acids in fish are like premium oil for your brain engine. They help with memory, focus, and even mood. John's secret: he keeps it simple. "I eat the colors of the rainbow," he says, "and I drink water like it's my job." That's another thing we often forget. Dehydration can sneak up on us and make us feel foggy. Just sipping water throughout the day can help your brain stay alert. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to include brain-friendly foods a few times each day. A handful of nuts, a piece of dark chocolate, a glass of water. Every little bit counts. And now, let's talk about something that often gets left behind when we talk about brain health: your sense of purpose. I want you to meet Robert Harris. He's 79, lives in Nebraska, and volunteers twice a week at a community garden. He's not paid, he's not famous, but to him that garden is everything. I wake up with a reason, he says. I know I'm needed. I know I'm helping things grow. That feeling of having a purpose, a role, a reason to get out of bed is like rocket fuel for the brain. People with a strong sense of purpose have better memory, more resilience to stress, and even lower risk of Alzheimer's. It doesn't have to be something big. It could be taking care of a pet, writing letters to your grandchildren, tending your plants, or helping a neighbor. Purpose comes from doing what matters to you, no matter how small it might seem. Robert says the garden gives him more than vegetables. It gives me peace, he smiles, and it keeps my mind sharp. I'm always learning, always thinking about what to plant next. That's the beauty of living with intention. It energizes the brain in a way that no pill ever could. And finally, let's not forget about laughter and joy. Yes, joy is medicine too. Joy doesn't just feel good, it is good for your brain. When you laugh, your body releases endorphins, lowers stress hormones, and boosts circulation in your brain. It's a total win. Shirley Watkins, 77, lives in a retirement community in North Carolina. Every Friday she runs a laugh club. It's just a circle of folks telling jokes, watching funny videos, or sharing stories that make them giggle. Some of us snort, some of us cackle, she says, but we all leave lighter. You don't need a club to bring more laughter into your life. Watch a silly movie. Call that one friend who always cracks you up. Tell a bad joke at the dinner table. Just find something, anything that makes you smile on purpose. Because joy, like movement, like connection, like rest and nourishment, it's all part of the same picture. A brain that's full of life is a brain that's used, loved, nourished and treated with care. Every habit we've talked about, from crosswords to fish, from long walks to belly laughs, adds up. Not in an instant, but over time, just like drops of water filling a glass. And guess what? That glass is yours to fill every single day. We've covered so much already, keeping your mind active, moving your body, connecting with others, sleeping, well, eating right, finding purpose and bringing joy into your day. And yet there's one more piece that quietly supports every single one of those habits. It's often invisible, but incredibly powerful. I'm talking about managing stress. Now, before you roll your eyes or think, well, life's always stressful, hear me out. Stress is part of being human. But chronic, unchecked stress, that slow simmering pressure that builds up over time, can do real harm to your brain. It shrinks the memory center, clouds your thinking, and even speeds up mental decline. But here's the hopeful part. You don't need a stress-free life to protect your brain. You just need a few simple ways to release that stress, instead of letting it build up like steam in a pressure cooker. Let me introduce you to Martha Simmons. She's 76, a retired schoolteacher from Oregon. After her husband passed away, Martha found herself tense all the time. I felt like my brain was in a fog, she said, like I was always on edge. Then one day she went to a community center where someone was teaching basic breathing techniques, just deep breathing. That's it. Inhale slowly through the nose, exhale gently through the mouth. 10 slow breaths. That's how she started. Martha now begins every morning with 10 minutes of quiet breathing and a little journaling. It clears the static in my head, she says. It doesn't make my problems disappear, but it makes them quieter. And that helps my mind stay calm and clear. You don't have to meditate for hours or sit cross-legged in silence. A few deep breaths, a walk outside without your phone, petting your dog, or listening to soft music. Even just sitting in a chair and looking out the window for 5 peaceful minutes can reset your nervous system. And when you reduce stress, your memory sharpens, your thoughts get clearer, your mood improves. It's like wiping fog off a window. And speaking of clarity, one final habit I want to share with you is perhaps the most powerful of all: lifelong curiosity. Never stop learning. It doesn't matter how old you are. The moment you stop being curious is the moment your brain starts to slow down. But the beautiful thing is, you don't have to go back to school or take fancy classes. Learning happens every day if you let it. Take Gerald Pierce, 82, from Minnesota. Gerald spent his whole life as a mechanic. After retiring, he got a little restless. One day he wandered into a library and picked up a book about astronomy. He'd never looked through a telescope before, but something about the stars hooked him. Now he reads about the planets, watches online lectures, and even joined a local astronomy group. "It's like my brain woke up again," Gerald says. "It's learning something totally new, and I love the challenge. And that's exactly what the brain thrives on. Challenge, novelty, curiosity. Whether it's a new hobby, a new recipe, or learning to play a simple song on the piano, it keeps your neurons active and growing. Because here's the thing, your brain doesn't retire. It doesn't have an expiration date. It adapts. It builds new connections. Even after 70, even after 80, you are still capable of learning, growing, and becoming more of who you are. So maybe today's the day to try something new. Pick up that book you've been meaning to read. Ask your grandson to teach you how to use that app everyone's talking about. Join a local club, watch a documentary, write your story. Start small, but start. And as we begin to wrap up, let's take a step back and breathe this in together. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to change your life overnight. You just need to remember that your brain is a living, breathing part of you, and it responds to the care you give it. Every habit, no matter how small, matters. A short walk, a good night's sleep, a phone call with a friend, a new book, a moment of laughter, a deep breath. They add up. You are not too old, you're not too late. Your brain is still listening, still learning, still alive with possibility. And if you've ever felt forgetful, cloudy, or just not as sharp as you used to be, please know that's not the end of your story. It's just a signal to start giving your brain a little more love and attention. So here's to you, for showing up, for caring about your health, and for believing that life after 70 can still be rich, meaningful, and bright. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried any of these habits? Do you have your own brain-boosting rituals you swear by? Leave a comment and share your story. You might just inspire someone else watching this today. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a warm, supportive community here, full of wisdom, humor, and heart, and you belong in it. Let's keep growing together. Let's keep laughing, learning, moving, and loving. Here's to a brain that stays young, and a life that stays full, no matter the number on your birthday cake. Take care, and remember, the best is yet to come.